Look at that window. Yikes.
It's like a battle.
And a lovely sunset. It's hard to see just how bad it is. The sunset is so nice.
Sunset.
I do have it. Oh.
Well, we're on day 2 of our trek out west, and we're certainly not going to bore you with day 3, day 4, day 5, but when you've been sitting in one spot for 76 days like we were, it's a little bit exciting to you as well. What I'm doing now is I'm coming back here to start up the Honda and heat the transmission up and put the gear shift selectors in the right position. I've mentioned in the past, while I heat up, I take a gander to make sure that nothing's missing. You'll remember I did a video where when I came back here, I did actually have something missing. Overnight, unbeknownst to us, some kids or something could come and rearrange things or take something. I guess I used to be a juvenile delinquent when I was younger, so I don't blame anybody. But check out the episode where we had a little issue on this pin back there. You can see I have this double locking pin in right now that it has replaced that one, and it has proved to be okay. You can see how it fits underneath the hook. We've had a subscriber that told us that we had our hooks the wrong way, that they should be upside down like that, and we took his advice. Thank you very much for that tip. Sue and I are actually tourists. We're not really campers, and it's kind of funny because we spend our whole life in campgrounds, but when you're driving your house to wherever you're going to be a tourist, you need a campground. You can see in the back here, it was a pretty peaceful place with a cornfield right in back of us. And they gave us probably the best big rig friendly spot in the whole place here. We're right at the end of the campground, and we're able to have a nice radius spot there so that we can just drive straight out and get on the freeway. So this is our kind of place. Since we're actually in travel mode to get to Sioux Falls to visit Cindy, she's the famous gal that drives the Dutch Star in the Stuck video. I'll put a link up for that one. We're gonna visit her. She ended up selling her Dutch Star. She then ultimately had a toy hauler, which didn't turn out to be what she liked to travel in. So she sold that and her truck, bought a home, and I think she's going to be looking for a Class C when things settle down for her a little bit. You can see that we only hooked up our electric so we can have our air conditioning today, and we did not take on any water or hook up any black water piping.
Are the wheels turning already?
Well, call us simple-minded, but after 5 years of being on the road and having just left Milwaukee after sitting for 73 days, we still are energized and find it exciting. Now I can tell you that we're not the type of people that have just ground out miles day after day, week after week, chasing some holy grail of having fun when you get somewhere. We try to have fun along the way, and that is even more evident now with the extreme fuel costs associated with traveling. Now our 4,200 mile repositioning trip here is a little bit more hurried than it normally would be because we tried to stay as long as we could in Milwaukee for Sue to have time to visit her family, her daughter, her grandson, and her mother. So once we got back on the road today, guess what? Time to go to a filling station. And you can see here on screen, Sue popped up the app to find something, and then of course she had to zoom in even more because it kind of starts out a mess. And then when she zoomed in the last time, she kind of zeroed in on Loves, and Loves is not our first choice. TA is our first choice. We save almost double going to TA, but sometimes you have to go with convenience, and we hardly ever look at anything other than the ultra big boys, because look at how much room you have here to work with. Now on screen I just splashed a video that we put out that shows how the TSD logistics program works. It's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't cost anything to join. It is not a credit card. It is literally a debit card that will be hooked up to a checking account so you can save and they can get paid. So after we fueled up here and cleaned the windshield off, here's what the pump price was and what I ended up saving. Remember, we save almost double this amount when we go to TA. I had forgotten how much we miss driving out west, and we're only about 85 miles from Sioux Falls. We're on Highway 90, right, honey?
Right.
We're traveling due west. We're going 66 miles an hour. The roads have been, for the most part, really good. And, I mean, you look at, there's nobody in front of me, essentially. Hardly anybody in back of me. It's an absolute pleasure to drive. And we're kind of testing out our new Sirius radio app. The Chan Man finally broke open the weasel sack, and I signed up for $60 for the year. So we're gonna try it and see how we like it. I've kind of not gotten it because the speakers in the Dutch Star on both sides, and then some phony baloney ones that were put in back here, isn't particularly that good of a setup. But we can Bluetooth it to our Bose Revolve. So I'm looking forward to learning how to run things better, and I'm certainly not going to learn it while I'm driving. So we're just putting up with whatever comes out of this thing now. I'll get back to you in a couple of minutes. I've got a lane change to do.
That's right. Weasel sack? Yeah.
We just got off of Interstate 90. We're actually in Minnesota. This is one of our planned rest stops here. Of course, we could use the restroom in the rig, but what we really want to do is just walk around a little bit and stretch the legs. Now you can see how roomy this place was. I can tell you, wait until a couple episodes from now, you see what the rest stops looked like and what we had to endure when we were going through Nebraska. Yikes, it was unbelievable. Now, when Sue and I took our walk and hit the restroom, it was a nice enough area. It had shade and a picnic table. We decided that this is the place for us. We're going to take a break and enjoy our RVing. No sense hurrying. After all, we are retired.
Lunchtime.
Did you lock it, honey?
I did.
Where the heck are you going?
This is a rare moment. We're an hour and a half from Sioux Falls. We're at a really nice rest stop, and I decided I wanted to have lunch outside. So Mark, being the excellent husband he is, happy wife, happy life, so to speak, he's having lunch with me.
Well, truth be told, she's kind of the boss of me.
Only in some areas. It's like a good lunch.
The best lunch for a guy is one that he didn't have to make.
True.
But it's perfect. Potato salad, I'm going to have half a sandwich, pickles, coffee, the woman I love, beautiful day, nice view, and in the shade.
There you
can't
go.
beat any of that with a stick.
There you go.
We're pulling into the Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort, which had an RV park hooked up to it. It's in Larchwood, Iowa, which is right next to the suburb that we're going to be visiting in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Now, the check-in process here was a little weird, where we had to actually park and then go into the casino main desk, register, and get a key to be able to unlock the pedestal. So you'll see us walking back here from unlocking it, and now I'm going to get in the rig and Sue's going to direct me in. Now, I certainly don't really need to be directed in. This is a pretty roomy site to get into, but we kind of don't change our routine so that we always have the same success of not smashing into something. Well, we just arrived at the campground. We got the hoses all hooked up, and the hardest part, I'm making sure I don't sprain my finger because I've got to level the rig right now. So I turn on the ignition and I go over here and I auto level. Don't turn the camera off, honey. I'm going to go check to make sure everything goes according to plan. One of my favorite noises. You can tell we're a little rusty at setting up because we would never have the tire covers on this early in the leveling process. This snap pad that's on the front only, they do not make them for our rig and for mini rigs on the back because our pads on the back are too big and there's some interference problems. But you don't want the tire covers on there because you want to be able to see if the rear tires or the front tires have in fact come off the ground. Now here you see that we almost came off the ground with our front tires, and if we would have went up a little further with the jacks, put some boards under, and then came down on them. For the rear, if you're ever off those rear tires, you want to lower and just live with the fact that you're unlevel, because your brakes keeping you from creeping one way or the other are on your rear axles, so you never want to be suspended. Well, this is the end of our 5-hour travel day. That included about 200 miles of traveling, I believe 2 rest stops and 1 fuel stop. On our 4,200 mile relocation trip, we're going to have plenty of days and plenty of videos that are just a run and gun like this one was. But since we're here for 11 days, we're going to put together 2 or 3 episodes on all of the fun things we did in Sioux Falls with Cindy, Sue, and the bicycles. As always, Sue and I would like to thank you for stopping by, and we will see you next week.